Hello world, it's Curtis Potter with Boundless Inspiration. Here in Indianapolis, Indiana, the snow's coming down hard. There's a snowstorm that's here and it's supposed to get pretty bad. But it's beautiful, and like as I was about to start this video, I thought about like the calm to the storm, the beauty in the storms. And I didn't even really think about that I was going to tie that into the video, but winter weather advisory, it's going to get pretty bad, but there's still beautiful parts to the storms. So no matter what storm you're going through in life, I invite you just to enjoy, appreciate, be grateful for the beautiful times of the storms, and even sometimes it's not until after the storm where you realize it's the lessons that you learn, the wisdom that you gained, the friendships that's grown stronger because of those storms, to where you can really appreciate them. And if you learn to appreciate them while you're going through the storms, it makes the storms easier. It's like having rain boots, raincoat, and an umbrella while going through a rainstorm. Like, it makes it where it's bearable. These cold temps, like as you see, I have my thermal underwear on, my pants, and my long sleeve shirt. It makes the storm more bearable if you learn the tools to make those storms easier, right? So I just invite you to utilize the tools that you've learned to help you get through the storms, and gratitude is one of the best ones. Gratitude is how you change your life. Like starting and ending every day with gratitude, it'll change your life. Now again, that wasn't even the preface of this video. I wanted to tell you about my morning. I'm on the way to this job site, and I had to go to Lowe's to get some materials, and I see somebody walking, and my paradigm kicked in. Now, paradigms and habitual habits, those cycles of how you typically handle life. And it's just like a program on a computer, it's kind of the same thing in rotation over and over and over again. And there's times in your life where you're gonna have to push through those paradigms. So when I saw this person walking that I was driving by, I was instantly like, oh, the inside of my truck's clean, it's gonna get dirty. Then I was like, that's stupid because I have unlimited cleaning inside and out through Prime Car Wash. I love it here in Indy. I can go twice a day if I want. Then I was like, oh, I don't have time to stop and go out of my way. Like, I don't even know why that thought popped in my head. And in times in your life, you'll have these thoughts that pop in your head to prevent you from doing a lot of the things you want in life, like saying I can't afford that, or I don't have time for that, or that's not a big deal for me to eat healthy, or I just don't have time for the gym, or it costs so much to go to the gym, or my bad habits are okay, like they're not that big of a deal. Like, I don't need to become the best version of myself. I don't need to become successful. I don't need to be wealthy. Like, I don't need to go to counseling. I don't need therapy. I don't need to read books. I don't need to quit drinking soda. I don't need to, there's just so many things that are easy to justify. And I don't know why we've gotten to a way where it's acceptable and where we don't put it on the other side, like, I can't afford to go to that seminar or that class. Instead saying, I can't afford not to. I don't have time to read this book. Like, I can't afford not to read books and advance my life. So flipping that script. And as I was passing the person, I passed them. And see, I've gotten to where I talk to God a lot. I have intimate conversations with God. It's not about a religion, it's about a relationship. And this ain't a video to urge you to Christ or anything like that. But I'm just saying, me personally, I was in a year of solitude in 2022, and it got to where I really have a lot of conversations with God. And I was like, God, I'm sorry that I didn't pick up one of your people, like you're supposed to help God's people. That's what religion's all about. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. And I justify it. Like I'm having this conversation with God and I'm like, oh God, I'm sorry. I'm just so busy. Or I'm sorry that I didn't. Like I was apologizing. And how many times in life do we apologize as a justification that made it right, that we were doing what we were doing, I was like, and I even had God strike me down right then, was like, if you're really sorry, turn around and pick them up. And then my other paradigm kicked in. See, my grandfather was a police officer. In his cop car, he picked up a lady, Indianapolis, Indiana, on the highway, was taking her home, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere, 10 minutes into the drive, now mind you, he's in a police car. He's in uniform, on the clock, picks her up, and then she just randomly starts stabbing him in his chest. A police officer. So my mom was so hard on me about picking up hitchhikers. So that's the other paradigm that I have is if that can happen to a police officer, why couldn't it happen to me, right? So that paradigm kicked in, I'm like, oh, blah, 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 And God was just like, you're making excuses. You're not in a hurry. You're on your way to Lowe's. I had already told myself that because there's a Prime car wash by the Lowe's that I was going to, I was going to go through the drive-thru anyways and get some of that salt off of my truck. So every time I didn't open the doors, the snow would fall in and so forth, and just, take care of my truck. So I was like, if I have time to go to a car wash, that's what God even said, if you got time to go to a car wash this morning, skip the car wash and pick up somebody that needs help. So I was like, as I was about to get on the highway, I was like, all right, you're right, God. I'm just making excuses, and I don't even understand why. I love helping people. And actually, I pick up tons of hitchhikers, not necessarily hitchhikers, but people I see walking, I'll just pull up hey, man, do you need a ride? I do that pretty often. So I'm like, why am I even making excuses for it today? So I do a U-turn. I go pick up this person, and mind you, I thought it was a guy because a big, reflective, thick coat. I thought it was a construction worker or something, which, again, I'm like, why didn't I help out another fellow construction worker? Because I'm at a job site and I do construction. I own my construction company, and I was like, that's another thing. I was justifying being late. I was like, I own my own business and I make my own hours. That's why I own my own business, so I can have a good time freedom and financial freedom. I was like, if I'm 10 minutes late to the job when I was planning on being there 10 minutes later, I'm not going to get yelled at by a boss. So, you know what? And even the homeowner, I know the homeowner on a personal level, actually, that I'm doing this work for, and I know that they would want me to help somebody if it meant being 10 minutes late. They're a fellow VIA and vision and action, and that's how VIAs think. So I pick up this person, ends up being a girl, and she's like, oh, thank you so much. I'm running late. I'm headed to the bus. I was really trying not to miss the bus, but it's so cold. I wasn't walking as fast. I got a little bit of a late start. And I accidentally, because I was on a late start, I grabbed the wrong shoes and my feet are soaked. I am freezing down to the bone. She's like, when your feet get cold and wet, it's just game over. So I kicked up the heat and I'm like, no worries. I got you. Let's get there. As I pulled to the bus station, the bus was already there. She's like, oh, the bus is already there. And they were shutting the doors and they were about to take off. And I said, watch this. I pulled up right in front of that bus, parked. She looked at me. She's like, you blocking the bus? I was like, girl, get out of this truck and get on that bus. They ain't pulling away. I won't let them till they let you on. God bless you. Have a great day. And she just paused for a moment. She just looked at me. She's like, you're crazy, but thank you. Thank you. And see, I'm not doing this video to brag or boast or anything oh, look at me, I stop and help people. I made this video because my paradigm kicked in And I tried to make excuses multiple times about not picking her up, not helping her out, not helping somebody. And I don't even know why, other than that's just the paradigm of the busyness of this world. And today I just invite you with this story, like, think about, are there things in your life where you're making excuses, like, why not to become a better parent, a better father, a better spouse, a better friend, a better employee? You know, there's traumas that we go through in life. Like even the trauma of the story of what my grandpa went through gave me excuses on why not to pick up people. And I know other people that are scared to death to give people rides. And I had to push through that paradigm. And like thinking about that, like our paradigms kick in even when we don't want them to. Like I enjoy giving people rides and showing them the love of God and that there are good people out there. Like I was like going through that the whole time after I dropped her off. I'm just like, why did my mind go towards making excuses not to do what I love to do? Like I work with people and I tell them like, yeah, I'm just working on becoming the best version of myself every day, trying to be a better version of myself. And I've had people like, I'm not interested in that. Like, why would I want to become the best version of myself? I'm like, to live the exact life you want to live. Like, why not? I'm never going to achieve that. I'm never going to do that. And I'm like, books, seminars, workshops, counseling, you know, and they're, I'm not doing that. And see, deep down, I know that everyone would like their life to improve in one way or another. Like, you know, maybe you don't have dreams and goals of being a millionaire or a billionaire, and that's all right. Like, you don't have to have that massive dreams and goals, but I do believe that we're put on this earth to become an elite version of ourselves. It's not about how much you make, but it's what you do with it. Like, you know, money can destroy people if they don't have the right motives. And the reason I like making more money, and I'm working on making even more money and extreme wealth, is because of things that I want to do with it, the lives that I can help. Like when you tithe 10% of your income, the more you make, the more you tithe, the more that you can give to the church, the more lives you can help. You can feed hungry people. You can pay for somebody to go to college. Like, even if it's your own kids, paying for them to go to college. But not only that, like you become very wealthy, you can sponsor other kids to go to youth camps or sports camps or college. Or I was just talking to this guy who buys backpacks for kids, and like we've done a lot of that stuff with Boundless Youth as well. And like, why not become the best version of yourself? Why not do what it takes to have the best relationship possible with everyone that you're in a relationship with? I have a friend that him and his wife not only went to premarital counseling, but they still 28 years later are going to counseling once a month, marriage counseling. And people are like, man, you know, because they started going to marriage counseling the week after their honeymoon. And see, everyone's like, oh, your relationship was that bad where you were like, what'd you jump into marriage because she was pregnant? And then you guys were like, we better fix this craziness before it's too late. And he said, no, we were proactive instead of reactive. We went to premarital counseling, and then we started going to marriage counseling the first week we were married, because we never wanted a relationship where we was backed into a corner like it's marriage counseling or nothing. I've been there before. And my spouse wouldn't go to marriage counseling, and the marriage ended. It was rough. It was tough. It was hard. And I was like, man, I just wish she would have went with me. But see, it was already too late. She was already sold out. She was already done. She was already out. And you know what? That was hard. And I had to choose my heart. I'm like, do I go into another relationship without fixing me? Because I'll take me right into the next relationship. And that's why I've devoted all of 2022 to just working on all the bad habits I had. Like, I could have excused it. I could have went right into another relationship. But then, what good would that have done? I just got a smile on my face seeing these people in the background having a snowball fight. Like, what would your life look like if you became the best version of yourself? If you took some time and said, you know what? What are my bad habits? What is it going to take to fix them? What do I have to gain by not fixing them? And what do I have to gain if I do? Why am I making those excuses not to move forward in life and have my best life possible and help other people have a better life? Like, that's what this world is all about, folks. I hope this helped. Please like, share, comment, tag somebody, send in their DM, whatever you got to do to help this world become a better place, just one step at a time. We're all becoming boundless together. I love you all. Have a great day and be boundless. Enjoy the beauty, even in the storms.